Hey, what's up everybody? It's Sissy. So I just got back from seeing The Woman in Black, the newest installment in the Harry Potter franchise, where they decided to skip the book, drop the Harry Potter and just call it The Woman in Black. They got rid of all the old characters, and this time we see Harry facing a new villain. No Voldemort. This time Harry Potter meets a ghost of a scorned woman who has lost her child. Hey, what's up everybody? I'm back. Sorry about that misunderstanding. I was misinformed and my friend here has fixed that. I now know that this is not a Harry Potter movie. I was unaware of that. I apologize everyone. Apparently, Harry Potter has decided to try his hand at acting, which I must say he did a fantastic job. So, he got cast in this new movie, The Woman in Black, where we meet Harry with a new look, got the whole sideburns, new haircut, fancy suit, and he goes back to old London times to a small village where the town is very afraid of a ghost who has lost her son. And Harry plays a lawyer who basically has fallen upon hard times and needs cash, so he's trying to help his family and protect his son, and he goes into his law firm, and gets one last chance from his boss. So Harry goes into his law firm and gets one last chance from his boss to basically redeem himself. There's one last shot. He gets this difficult case that they've been trying to basically solve or close, but they haven't received much help from anyone in the town. So Harry has to get on a train and go down to the town. He has to part ways with his son for a few days, who later on will come meet him again. But anyway, so Harry gets on the train and goes to visit the small town. So the town's obviously afraid of something. As soon as he gets there, they try and shoo him out, basically giving him the paperwork that they say he needs, and paying a carriage driver, horseman, to carry him out of town. Of course, he then persuades the carriage driver to take him to the house that he needs to be at, so we can go through the paperwork he needs. Now, everyone wants him to leave, but the carriage driver insists on 6 shillings to take him to the house. So he gets him to take him over there, the carriage driver, well aware of the town's fear of the house, and he gets into the house, finds the ton of papers that he's supposed to be going through, and starts going through them. So as he's going through them, creepiness ensues. There's a lot of parts in here where the biggest problem with this movie is it's so formulaic. I guess that's the word. It's so formulaic. It's so laid out, it just follows basically every other ghost story you've ever seen. Now, it is set in older times, and it's supposed to be kind of like a throwback to an older ghost story, which I wouldn't expect much different from it anyway, but it's very, very laid out. And the problem with it, too, is it's laid out with a whole bunch of jump scares. Not real, there's some suspense, there's definitely some building, slow build, but there's a whole bunch of jump scares that do not need to be in there. And what I mean by do not need to be in there, I mean like Harry Potter's walking through the house, and then we see something turn behind him, and everyone in the audience is like, oh. And he goes, look. And bam! Something drops. And then, so once everyone's regained from the turning head, something drops that spooks them, and everyone's like, ah! Right, so everyone's back into the movie, and then, oh, something else happens. No, something else happens. Too many jump scenes or jump scares, I mean, that are unnecessary and get really old and really annoying fast. A couple of jump scares I can take, it's fine, but it just gets boring to see too many and trying too hard. Now, the jump scares in this are setting up for something else, too. It's kind of setting the tone for the movie, which it kind of works in that way, setting the eerie kind of tone. And the setting for this is fantastic. It's set, like I said, older London times, and this is just like basically this huge house that's really cool looking, very haunted looking, of course. Graveyard on the outside, and it's got a road, one road coming in, and it's basically secluded from the rest of the town. And when high tide comes, you can't get there. It covers up the roads, you can't leave or you can't come. So that's a very cool setting. It's got the whole eerie, dark overtones feel to it, and the scares are kind of setting up the tone for the movie, because it's very slow at first, building with a few jump scares to kind of get you on edge, and sets up the the slow building. So the problem with that is there's just too much at first, and that's all it is. And then the next day he leaves, goes back into town, and finds out that everyone in the town is very upset at him for going to the house. But of course he needs to go back to the house once more. He needs to finish his paperwork. This is his last chance. He needs to close this. So he goes back to the house, and this is the main night where most of the scary stuff happens, which of course most of the scary stuff is very formulaic, whatever that word is. And it's all the same stuff I've seen before. Now, not that it's bad, it's just could be so much better. This is the director from Eden Lake. If you haven't seen Eden Lake, it's a fantastic film. I really enjoyed it. I expected a lot more from him. He did a good job with what he was trying to do. I see what he was trying to do with the movie, but I think he could have done a much better job with it. So most of the scares are not very effective, and by no means is this a scary film. It's a creepy film, though. So the main night, basically, he's going through all the paperwork, and he's got his glass of alcohol, and he falls asleep. So it gets dark out, and this is when the main creepy stuff happens. He wakes up, and the main problem with this night, the whole night, this is a main part of the film too, is just later on you kind of understand what's going on a little better, but it's so all over the place. He wakes up to investigate a noise, and then here's another noise in the other room, and then here's a noise upstairs, and then something creepy happens upstairs. He goes back downstairs, and then he goes outside, and then he goes back inside, and then he goes back outside, and then he goes back upstairs. It's just one creepy noise to investigate after another. It gets really old really fast, and every room he goes into, everything he does, something new might happen, something creepy might happen. There's some scenes, but there's just like a creepy scene, and then that's all I've got. Now to the next creepy scene. Oh, that's all I've got there. Next creepy scene, and it's too much and not done well enough. And I get lost. I got lost in it. I was like, what's exactly is going on here? I've seen this scene twice now. What's going on? And it gets old fast. And some of the scenes, some of the scares could have been done a lot better. He leaves the house, well aware of why the people in the town don't want him to go there. Finding out that the town members are even more upset at him, and this is where the movie feels like it's coming to an end, but instead it's getting into the main story. It is close to an end, but it's getting into the actual heart of the story. There's not really much story to it, and they don't really explain everything, so you kind of already know what's going on anyway, but it gets into the heart of the story. You kind of find out a little twist here. Not a real big twist, but a little twist. What's going on. So needless to say, Harry Potter needs to go back to the house once more to try and figure out what's going on for sure, and he has an idea of how he can stop it. So he gets the guy who's been helping him throughout the movie, who has heard the stories but is doubtful to believe them, or doesn't want to believe in them. So he gets that guy to help him out. He goes back to the house, has an idea of what he needs to do to solve it. So this is the climax of the film, and it is a good scene. It's a very cool scene. It's an intense scene. It wouldn't turn into the movie. The movie itself, the pacing, the way it goes, it's not like I was super on edge or anything, but it was an intense scene. And it's a cool part of the movie, cool ending. Of course, there's he needs to go back into the house. So we set up with the same scene again that we saw the night before, though. It's the same sort of scare. He's sitting there waiting for her to come, so that the woman in black, so he can basically, do what he thinks will solve it, whatever. The last night, get a little more scares, a few different little things here and there, but it's most of the same stuff again. And that's the biggest problem with this film, is it's far too over and over, far too laid out and obvious. And it's nothing new, nothing original. The best thing this film has going for it is its acting by Harry Potter, who stepped in and did a great job. The directing, the build of the, I'll say, feel of the movie. Not the directing and the scares or anything like that, but the feel, the overall tone of the movie was interesting, like an old ghost story. And I enjoyed that. That was the best thing it had going for it, but it's far too predictable and far too, laid out, formulaic. So as the movie's coming to an end, there's an ending scene where basically you're like, okay, this is far too predictable. What's going to happen next? The ending of the movie I did love, because the whole movie is very cliche, very boring, same stuff you've seen before again and again. until you get to the very end. And the very end of the movie I thought was cool because it was cliche but original at the same time. It kind of did both, and I didn't see that coming. It's not like a huge twist or a huge thing, but it was cool how they did that. So this movie overall is nothing really new, nothing stand out. It's pretty much exactly what I expected going in. Good performances throughout, good creepy feel to it, kind of like Don't Be Afraid of the Dark should have been like if it was done properly. The feel of the movie, not the movie itself. I'm not comparing the movies or nothing like, except for the house is very similar, but other than that, the movies are nothing alike. But the feel of the movie is pretty cool. It's not like anything extravagant or anything, you know, super spectacular. Nothing I would watch again just for the cool atmosphere. The setting is really cool, but it's nothing new, and that's pretty much what I expected anyway. It is like an old time kind of throwback horror ghost story, you know, and that's what you would expect from one of those anyway. Just the basic plot, you know, of every other ghost story you've ever seen. But it is a decent movie. It's nothing fantastic. I would recommend waiting to DVD just to rent it because, like I said, the audiences are really stupid, and a lot of these people are going in expecting exactly what a lot of Hollywood movies are getting, where they're just, you know, flash, explosions, entertainment, jump scares, you know, scary villains and whatnot like that. They don't expect the slow build up and the you know, the creepy atmosphere and the slow directing, and it gets them bored, which in turn makes them annoying and makes you taken out of the movie. So wait a while till the audiences have calmed down, or I would just say rent it. It's really not worth paying the full price to go see in theaters. Personally, I didn't enjoy it that much. It was okay. It was an okay movie, but nothing exceptional. So I'm going to talk about a few spoilers real quick. So if you haven't seen the movie, stop watching, and I'm going to talk about a few spoilers. So hopefully by now you have seen the movie and you know what I'm talking about. So first thing I want to talk about is the ending. The ending I did enjoy. I thought that the whole cliche ending where, you know, he jumps at the last minute and saves the kid, or the kid dies. They did both cliche endings together, but made it new at the same time. I love the idea of the ghost not forgiving the town, but sort of forgiving him in a way by setting things kind of right when he died, you know? He died, but he also got to be with his wife and his kid. So that was cool. And the whole ending where like they zoom in on her face and I thought she was going to scream, like, don't scream. It's going to ruin it. Just don't scream. And she just kind of went and looked to you. That was awesome. I loved that. But the scares with the woman and the kid when he was muddy, I think he could have been a lot creepier. Like when you saw him when he was dead, it was a lot creepier if they would have had that face. The faces in the movie that they did with like the distorted faces and figures and stuff was cool. I thought that was kind of creepy, but all around it didn't do an effective job with me. For me anyway, I think they could have been a lot better. Now, I'm not expected to get scared by it anyway, but I think they could have done a lot better job. So, whatever. Anyway, so thanks for watching, everybody. That's my review. Tell me what you thought of the movie. Tell me what you expected going in, and tell me what your audience members were like, because mine are terrible, which is happening a lot these days anyway. But thanks for watching, everybody. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe.